G'day Calgary and welcome to Brannon Construction. Today we're going to show you guys how to build a set of stairs. These are deck stairs. We'll show you how to find the rise and the run. We're going to show you how to do the calculations using our handy calculator that we have for that. How to use the framing square to lay out the stringers, and then how to use our jig in our router to cut the outside stringers, and then how we cut the inside stringers to make our stairs. Stay tuned. Okay, so first off we need to find our total rise, which is the height of the stairs. So from our landing to where the stairs will end at the bottom to the surface in which they hit at the top, which in this case is our deck. And then of course our landing is the concrete pad here. So we're gonna level across from the top of the landing, measuring down. We have about 42.5 inches. So that's the number one measurement we need for our stair calculations. Secondly, the total run, which is the length from the back wall where the stairs start out to the edge of where our landing starts, which will be 51 inches. So now that we have our total rise and our total run figured out, we're going to use the Constrction Master 5 calculator and we're going to write all this down. This calculator helps us with roof framing, stair framing, and metric imperial measuring. It does much more, but that's the main stuff that I primarily use it for. So 42 5/8 is our rise, 48 inch is our run, and then we hit the stair button and it's going to give us all the measurements. So 7 1/8 is our riser height. We're going to keep hitting the stair button. There's 6 risers. 9 5/8 is our tread width, and there's 5 treads. Those are most of the main numbers that you're going to need to lay these stringers out. It's also nice to know the overall stringer length. That way, when you're laying them out, you can reassure yourself before making the end cuts that you've got the right length of stringer. So now that our stair gauges are set on our framing square, we're going to start laying the stringer out. The stair gauges just reassure that we're making the marks exactly in the correct positions. It is easy otherwise to gain a little bit here and there if you're trying to hold the square into position as well as marking it, and that can mess up your overall stringer length. When we have cut the tops and the bottom off this stringer prior to starting, just to make our life a little easier when we're doing the video. But when you get to the top and bottom, all you do is you flip that square around and you square off of your last riser or your last tread, and that'll give you your top and bottom cuts. Normally I cut the very outside edges after fitting the stringer into position, just to ensure that everything's going to work out. Now, here we have our jig. This is just a piece of plywood, and it works as a guide for this router bit that has the bearing on the top edge, and it lets us cut into the stringer 3/4 of an inch, which is half the material depth. And then our 2x6 deck boards fit in here, and we screw through the outside edge of the stringer, and we have nice stringers on the outside and no exposed end or butt ends on our stair treads. So now putting on your proper PPE, earplugs, safety glasses are important. We've got the jig into position and we're going to fire the router up. ensuring that the router is at the right depth, not only to cut 3/4 of an inch deep, but to ride on the plywood edge with this bearing. So now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna measure our 2x4 riser, 119 inches. It'll get secured under here on the edge, and that'll help stiffen up these treads. We're also gonna cut and install the bottom side of the stringers to secure these treads as well. Okay, so now we're gonna glue and screw these riser pieces of 2x4. So we just take a bead of our adhesive, run it along the top. I previously prepared that one. Then we're gonna take our Irwin clamp. That'll help us hold the board into position. These guys have been cut back exactly enough to give us the reveal that we're looking for here on the outside edge of this tread. So that holds it right into position. Go along and pop this on. So to make the center stringer support pieces that go up underneath, we lay them out the same way with our framing square, using the same rise and tread dimensions as we did for the routed stringers. And we just cut on those lines, and both lines, both the tread and the riser lines, to get this piece that will sneak up underneath and support those treads. We use the skill saw, and then we use the jigsaw to finish off these cuts nice, so we're not plunging with the skill saw too far into the meat of the stringer. Now to rip a piece of 1/2 inch plywood, just to clad over the existing OSB. We just don't want this exposed. Okay, so now what I'd like to show you is how to close in these sides. Obviously, we don't really want this open appearance wise, and we also don't want critters running around underneath there, so we're going to try to seal this up. I cut this piece for the other side already in preparation, but we can't really get a good shot there, so I'm going to show you here. So I'm going to reach back in there and measure total height. And then I can measure from the wall to this point. Again, writing it down. Now we'll show you how we laid this out, how we made our cuts off the sheet, and how we're gonna make our cuts for this other side. So here we have our height, in which we measured over there, and then we have our length. We chalk the line, cut it with the saw, the skill saw. The speed square will help us find that angle. If we square off the long point, do this, and we can in fact see that it aligns with what our calculator was telling us that stringer incline angle was, which was 35.5 degrees. To cut the other side, we're going to utilize this angle cut and just literally scribe this piece out to match our dimensions that we measured for the other side. So to secure the side piece of plywood, we're actually just gonna use those little edges of the tread here. We can secure with a couple screws on every tread, and then we've leveled up a 2x2 underneath that we'll just use some construction adhesive to secure the edge to. Don't forget to secure the stringers by toenailing with GRKs or longer screws to the deck. Thanks for tuning in today. Subscribe below and check us out online at www.cbrannonconstruction.com or on Facebook, Brannon Construction.